up every New Year, like not the day before New Year's Eve. We would, my parents would have us like not just clean the house, but we would have to like bag up old clothes, shoes, coats, items in our rooms, things that we haven't like
touched
worn or touched. Have to bag it all, because my mom didn't want any of it in the house when the new year started. And she would always say, that would be her thing. She's like, we're creating a vacuum. And that would be like, that would be anything. That would be food, anything in the cabinets, old dishes, pillows, comforters, clothes. She was like, we're forming a vacuum for the new year, and we're not going to take old things that don't serve us. We're not going to take them into the new year. And we did that every year. I do it with my kids now. Not the same way, but we definitely around New Year's Eve, we start doing vision boards, and we do like clearing out of things in the house. And we each do our own vision board and put them up in our rooms. But I think when we clear space, to your point, you create room for something else and something better.
Totally. And I feel like I was mourning and grieving for the past 2 years, and I think it's something I obviously needed, because I realized like one thing that I did was that I took a tour with Maddie to her new high school, and I told you that, where it looked like the colors of our high school, and I started crying, and I'm like, why am I crying? And then it clicked to me where I'm processing all of those feelings now in these past 2 years of everything that I never processed as a child, as a teenager, and as an adult. And I needed to cry it out. I needed to feel it, be sad, be hysterical, be raging. Like, I needed to feel all those things because it was all suppressed. And I feel like by the end of the year, I'll be done crying.
That sounds like an organized plan. By the end of the year, I'm done crying.
I think by the end of the year, I'll be more done crying, because I noticed in some other podcasts that when I started talking to you about things that I didn't bust out crying, where I was able to talk about something and I might feel a little bit of it, but I'm not bursting out and crying,
Yeah, you're not overwhelmed by it. And your tears, I think sometimes people see tears and they think tears mean one thing. Tears can mean a lot of different things. You could be crying at someone's funeral, and one emotion at the beginning of the funeral could be tears of like just sadness because you're going to miss the person. And then 2 hours later, you could be crying, but you could be crying with tears of joy of the memories that you have with that person. So I think as you talk about how tears kind of flow, and even in the context of what we're saying now about clearing out space, your tears at the start were like, they were more like a release of like what had been suppressed. Whereas now your tears are more like tears like, wow, I can't believe I went through that. You know what I mean? Which is very, very different. Very different. Man, look at you out here changing people's lives and your own.
I'm trying every podcast, right? Every podcast, every story, one story at a time. One story at a time.
One story at a time.